All right, so tomorrow you're going to have a quiz, a formative on pretty much all of Unit 1 up to this point. Yep, exactly. Okay? All right, so just so you know, formative tomorrow. Potential exists tomorrow to stamp homework because we don't have a new stamp sheet yet today because you're just getting the new homework tonight, and then that will go on that next stamp sheet. So we'll have stamp sheets tomorrow also. Okay? So we are in the white packet. We're going to be on page 18 to start. We got pages 18, 19, and 20 to go through today. Page 18 on the retrieval, what I'd like you to try right now is, first off, you got to determine if the sequence is arithmetic or not, or arithmetic or geometric. Then find the value of the common difference and the common ratio. Then find the missing terms, so we're going to fill in those blanks. And then give me the recursive and the explicit equations to go along with both of those. Okay? And then on the bottom one is just some graphing and some slopes and some making the equational line. Okay? All right, page 18, go for it. I'll give you 5 minutes. So the first question that was asked was, we need to determine if the sequence is arithmetic or geometric. Can someone help me with what an arithmetic sequence is? Yes, ma'am.
Addition after addition for the pattern.
So the next term we establish by addition, or what's the other side of addition that we sometimes might do?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. Yep, exactly. Yep, we would either add or subtract to get the next term. Now, if you were struggling with that, to figure that out, you might want to do what I call write that down. Okay? All right? So you want to write some of this stuff down that you don't know. Okay? Can somebody help me with geometric? What is a geometric? Yes, ma'am. Multiply or divide to get the next term. I think I can fit IDE in there. Okay. Now, it then went on to say, find the value of the common difference. The common difference is whatever you are adding or subtracting to get your arithmetic next term. Or find the common ratio. The common ratio is whatever you are multiplying or dividing to get your next term in a geometric sequence. Okay? All right. So number 6. What are we doing? Multiplying by 3. Because I could take adding 6 off the board right away. Because the first one I added 6, but then I added 18. So we're multiplying both by, or multiplying all of the time by 3. Okay? Which means then 27 times 3 is what, Reno? Right there, there's 2 of them, I see them. Okay? 27 times 3? 81. So this is going to get filled in with 81. Okay? Then we still multiply by 3 to get 243. Then I multiply by 3 again to get 729. Okay? D value? Is it a common difference or a common ratio? Common ratio because we're multiplying, so my R value is 3. Okay? Recursive equation, anyone? Go on.
Would it be f of n equals 3 times f parentheses n minus 1?
So if you said f of n here, how would you say it over here?
N minus 1?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then we need something else. F of 1 equals 3, or f of 2 equals 9, or f of 3 equals 27, or f of 4 equals 81, or f of 5 equals 243, or f of 6 equals 729, or something like that. We need to have those also. Okay? Because we got to know where to start multiplying by 3. Okay? Love it? Okay? The explicit equation, then.
Would it be 3, f of n equals 3 times 3 to the power of n minus 1?
Okay? What's another one? What's up?
So if it's multiplication, you use exponent.
Correct. Yep. Anybody come up with another one right off the top of their heads? How about f of n equals 9 times 3 to the power of n minus 2?
I didn't know. Oh yeah.
Because remember, the pattern for a geometric is f of n equals the output times the ratio. That should be an R. I don't know why I curly cued the R there. Okay. Should equal R to the n minus the input power. Write that down if you are struggling with those. Okay? Alright. Number 7. What did we come up with? Is it arithmetic or is it geometric? Why is it arithmetic? Because we're adding 6 now on each one, right? So 9 plus 6 would be 15 plus 6 is 21, and 21 plus 6 is 27. So we're right back into it where we need it to be. Okay? Alright? So is this a common ratio or a common difference? Common difference, and our common difference would be plus 6. Okay? Somebody want to tackle the recursive equation? Go ahead.
F of n equals 6 plus f parentheses n.
Say it right.
F of n equals 6 plus f of n minus 1.
That's better. And then?
F of 2 equals 9.
Okay. Or we could have gone f of 1 equals 3.
So are we supposed to use like the top one for the recursive equation instead of like the next equals previous?
We're going to eventually, sometime in the next week, we're going to switch to all of this way and get rid of the next. But if you had this here, it would be next equals previous plus 6.
And then can you explain how we get to that part again?
All you do is so next equals previous plus 6. The 6 plus is where you get the 6 plus from, and the f of n is basic. F of n minus 1 is saying the next
Term right before it
Yeah, is it?
is a previous.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Or also wrote it this week with like f of n plus 1 equals f of n plus 6. Okay? So that f of n plus 1 would be your next term. Okay? F of n would be your previous term, plus 6 would be your common difference. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody want to tackle the explicit equation to go along with this one?
F of n equals 6 plus 3 parentheses n minus 1.
Say it one more time.
Oh, let's switch to 3 and 6. Yeah. That's how I had it, but I wasn't.
So you want to go, you're switching it to 3 plus 6 times the quantity n minus 1.
Yeah.
Like that one? Yep, I like that one. Because remembering, up here in an arithmetic, our explicit equation is going to be our output plus our common difference d times n minus the input. Okay? If you don't have those two pink patterns written down, I'm going to give you 34 seconds to write them down, because that's every every explicit equation in a geometric and a arithmetic. You just got to know which one's which.
The top one is the
Top one's arithmetic. Yep. Arithmetic goes with arithmetic. Graphing points. When you're telling me a graphing point, I'm going to assume that we're going to start at the origin, the nexus of the universe, right there, 0, 0. You need to tell me 2 directions and 2 numbers. Okay? Right? So for instance, if I wanted to graph point M, it would be 2 to the left, 0 up. Okay, because that's what negative 2, 0 means. We're going 2 to the left, and we're not going up at all, and we need to label that point M. With me? 2 directions, 2 numbers for point R. Two directions, 2 numbers for point R. Hit me with it. Right 4 up 2. And then we hit it with an R right next to it. Okay. One way to find the slope between those 2 points. Anybody? Rise over run. So I can go up 2 from my left point. Right 6 from that one. So my rise over my run would be 2 over 6, which would reduce down to 1/3. Another way of finding slope between those 2 points.
You do y minus a y minus a y and an x minus an x.
And what am I going to do with those?
And then you're gonna
Add them, subtract them, multiply them, divide them?
and you're gonna divide.
Going to divide them? Okay, so is it going to be y's on top or x's on top?
Why is it done? Oh,
Y.
yeah, minus the y.
Y's on top, so we're going to go 0 minus 2,
Yeah.
and we're going to go negative 2 minus 4. And that's going to give us negative 2 over negative 6, and I'm going to divide both of those by negative 2, and I'm going to get 1/3.
Yeah.
Yep, and I get the same thing. Okay. 2 different ways to find the slope. Okay. What does the equation of the line that goes between those 2 points look like? Not what it is, what does it look like? You know?
What do you mean by like what
in one, kind of the second most common formula ever.
So, not the equation?
Yeah, the equation.
So like just say the equation?
Not the equation of the line, the general equation of the line.
So like not
No numbers, only letters.
Oh, y equals mx plus b.
That's what I was looking for. Yep, y equals mx plus b. Do we have y in y equals mx plus b? Yeah, because it's just going to be y, right? Do we have m? Yeah, now it's 1/3. Do we have x? Yep, x is going to be x. Do we have b? No, we don't have b yet. Okay, well, we don't. You might, but we don't. Okay, so is it going to be a nice, pretty number? No, it's not going to be. So we're going to have to use y equals mx plus b for our advantage. So if I put y equals mx plus b, do I want to use point M or do I want to use point R?
R.
Point R? Okay, if I'm using point R, then my y is going to be 2. My slope is going to be 1/3. My x is going to be 4. And I'm going to solve all of that for b. 1/3 times 4.
It just be 4 1 and 2 thirds.
Nope.
I meant 1 and 1 third. Sorry.
Still don't like it.
4 thirds.
4/3. Yep. Improper fractions are much nicer.
Yeah.
Huh? With me on that so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a way, if I'm looking ahead at what I'm going to be doing next, what am I going to do next, mathematically wise? If I want to solve for b, what am I going to do next, mathematically wise? What am I going to do? I'm going to be subtracting 4/3 from both sides, right? But can I subtract 4/3 from 2? No, because what do I got to have? In order to add and subtract fractions, what do I have to have? What? It's 2 words. One starts with a C, one starts with a D. Common denominators, okay? So I need to be able to write 2 as a denominator of 3. What is 2 with a denominator of 3? 6 over 3. Yep, so it's 6/3. And now when I subtract off 4/3, now I can actually do that. And I get b here is 2/3. So the equation of my line is y equals 1/3 x plus 2/3. Okay? Mr. Nichols is planning for retirement and wants to invest $15,000 in a savings account that earns a 12% return each year. Okay? Create an explicit equation to model his savings account, then calculate how much money he will have in his account when he retires in 30 years. Okay? First off, I will tell you, in all of these word problems, whenever you see a percent, that means 2 things. Okay? The first thing means it's geometric. Okay? That's the first thing. It's geometric. The second thing that it means is it means that you need to change that percentage. I lost my train of thought there for a second. You need to change your percentage into a decimal. So 12% in terms of a decimal is what? Nope. 0.12. 0.12. Okay? So 12% is 0.12 in terms of a number. Okay? Now he's investing. Does that mean that that is going to be growing or shrinking?
Growing.
Says it's 12% return. That means it's growing, right? Okay? All right? So my rate here is going to be 1 plus 0.12 because it's growing by 12% each year. So that means my R value here is 1.12.
Oh, so 1 is for the amount of use.
Nope. 1 is for 100%. If it grew zero, if it didn't grow at all, it would stay at $15,000. So that's 100%. Okay? Alright? So my question to you now is, what is my function? F of n is equal to what?
So is this reversed?
Nope. We only have one input and one output so far.
Okay, 15,000.
Okay, 15,000 times. Keep going, Andre. Yep.
Times 1.12.
To the,
N minus 1.
because it's the first year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we agree with that? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, using your calculators now, tell me how much money he has in his account when he retires in 30 years.
At 57.
I get $401,248.96. Yes?
Yeah.
I got 300.
15,123 times 1.12 raised to the 29th power gives me 401,248.96. 1 5. Yeah. Ready? Clear out. 1 5 0 0 0 times 1.12. A caret key. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, I did second.
That's why. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Question number 2. The super discount store is having a sale and all the clearance items are 40% off. Okay. What is the sale price of an item that is normally $25? If an item is 40% off, that means you're paying how much, Brady? I'm trying to wake Brady down. So if you're taking 40% off the top, how much left do you have to pay, Brady? 60%, right? Okay, so that means that you guys, because remember they got to add up to be 100%, right? The whole thing. So if they take 40% off, that means that you got to pay 60%. Is that what you were going to say? Yep, exactly. Okay, all right. So that means we pay 60%, which means in terms of a decimal, what is 60%? 0.6? Yep, okay. So then 25 here is going to be multiplied by 0.6. And how much is that going to be? How much are we paying if we're paying at 40% off? $15. Let's talk about prairie dogs. Okay? Prairie dogs aren't really dogs. They're squirrels. Okay? Okay? They're tiny little rodents, basically. Yeah, I would go with rodents too. They live underground. Okay? So they live in colonies underground. They're called prairie dog colonies. Okay? They're native to the Great Plains, so that's the Oklahoma, North Texas, up through Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri type area. Okay, and that's where their native lands are. Okay? Prairie dog population is estimated to have declined by 95% over the past 200 years. So prairie dog reserves have been established in some areas. Prairie dog reserves are places where prairie dogs can live in their natural habitat without being disturbed by hunting or other human activities. One such prairie dog reserve was established on 120 acres of land in 2015. As the surrounding land has become more valuable for humans, the size of the reserve has been reduced over time. The following data has been collected about the size of the reserve. So there's all of our data. So in year 1, it was at 120, that's 2015. In 2016, then it went down to 112.5 acres. Then in year 3, 105 acres. Year 4, 97.5. Year 5, 90 acres. Okay. First off, first question, because we got to know what kind of a, if it's asking us to write an explicit equation, we got to know what kind of a sequence it is, because that's going to determine how we write that equation. Okay. So is this sequence arithmetic or geometric?
Arithmetic.
Why?
Subtraction.
5.
7.5.
Do we all agree that we are subtracting 7.5 each year? Yeah? Okay. And so adding and subtracting, that's arithmetic. So this is an arithmetic. We're going down by 7.5 per year. Okay. So can someone write me an explicit equation and a recursive equation? Well, let's do the recursive first, because recursive is always usually easier. Get this to the next one. Okay. So if somebody hit me up with a recursive equation for this. You've talked enough. Let's give somebody else a chance. You want to try it? You don't have to do it in function notation. I'll let you do the next and previous.
Next term equals previous term minus 7.5.
Love it. Okay. One more thing that you got to add in there for me.
Fn.
What do we got to add in there at the end? I'll let you do.
F1 equals 120.
Give me a starting value. Yep. F of 1 equals 120. Anybody want to tackle? Looking at you. Want to tackle the function notation of this one?
I can try.
Okay.
Not entirely sure.
Okay.
But wouldn't it be f of n equals f of n minus 1 minus 7.5?
Sound perfect to me.
Could be f of n equals
Yep. Yep. Okay. So there's our recursive. Now, we want to do an explicit. Okay? Somebody hit me up with an explicit one. Somebody that's not named Owen. Trust me, I love it.
No, yeah.
This is not a punishment in any way. I just wish everybody else would be, chiming in too, because then that tells me that you guys are all understanding it too. One more? Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So, f of n equals 120 plus, minus 7.5, and then in parentheses n minus 1.
Does everybody like that one? Yeah, I like that one too. Okay. Can somebody come up with me, somebody else, quickly come up with a second one? Same thing, second one. Go ahead.
Fn equals 105 minus 7.5, and then in parentheses n minus.
And minus 3. Yep, was that the one you were going to use? Give me yours then.
F of n equals negative 7.5 n plus 127.5.
Ooh, I like that one. I like that one. Yeah. Did you guys pick up on that one? He went this way. That one work? Yeah, that one works too. Yep. Love it. Yep. Love it. Good job. All right. Sale of land in the reserves was stopped when the reserve was at 76.5 acres because biologists who studied prairie dogs found the population was declining at an alarming rate of 20% per year.
Were you supposed to do number 2?
We did it already. It's an arithmetic. We talked about that at the start. We actually did number 2 before we did number 1. Just like here, we're going to talk about number 2 before we do number 1.
That's number 4.
Or number 4 before number 3. Okay? Alright? They determined that the decline was due to several factors, including reduction of habitat from selling off the reserve land. When the reserve began, the prairie dog population in the reserve was about 600 individuals. Okay? So, it's declining now by 20%. What does that mean in terms of what kind of a sequence this is going to be? Geometric, because it's declining by a percentage, right? Okay? So it's going to be a geometric because we're declining by a percentage. That's the answer to number 4. Okay? All right? So if it's declining by 20% per year, how much is left over each year? If it's declining by 20% each year, how much is left over? 80%. Yep, exactly. 80%. Okay. Somebody want to tackle me a recursive equation? We want to do it in next, or do we want to do it in f of n? F of n? Okay, let's do f of n is going to equal what? What are we multiplying by each time? 0.8? Yes? Okay, what's my next extra thing I gotta say? F of 1 was 600. We're talking populations now. Okay? So F of 1 was 600. So they want to tackle the explicit function. I'll start it out. F of n equals. We only got one, so we can only use one output and one input. What do we got?
F of n equals 0.8.
Had me and then you lost me. You can flip your page back and see how to do it. I'll let you.
So F of n
Got it?
equals
Yeah.
600 times 0.8 to the power of n minus 1.
With me? Now you have a question number 5 at the bottom of that page, or underneath that, and it says, how are decreasing sequences different from arithmetics and geometrics? Well, let's talk about it in terms of a graph. Okay? Right? But because we're going to show it with the graph. A decreasing arithmetic sequence looks like this. Okay? It's a straight line that's going down and to the right. What kind of a slope would it have? It'd have a negative slope. Okay? A decreasing geometric sequence would start rapidly declining, but then it would decline slower and slower and slower as it goes farther and farther out, because there's less to decline. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? I do have some stuff to hand back to you now, so I will get that handed back to you first. Once I get everything handed back, then I will open up the floor for stamping, if you have some stamps to get done, so that you can get stuff in. I did forget to say that your homework is 1.6?
Yeah.
1.6 in your yellow packet.
It's only 2 pages, right?
It is only, yes, it's a front. It should be a front and a back, but it's really a back and a front. In your packet, it's a back and a front. It's not a front and a back.